see, I'm wearing my, I'm wearing the, now I guess you could say the classic Intercontinental Championship. But, you see the title down there. I want to talk about the differences, the similarities and differences between ACES and EIGHTS and SCUM. Now, I will give, the similarities are, they both kind of started, well let me put it this way. The similarities as of just, within a week's time, if you will, they both pretty much, kind of reasserted themselves as a dominant force. They basically reinserted how dominant they need to be. Now, that's good and everything. That's great and everything, but here's the thing. Here's another similarity. Why did it take them so long to do so? I'm not saying SCUM wasn't assertive and showed force or anything when it was just Steen, Carino, and Jacobs. No. But the thing is, let me put it to you this way. The similarity was, as time went on, especially going into last year, and towards the end of last year, both, I know you might get some disagreements and stuff on this, but both the original trio of SCUM and the ACES and EIGHTS faction weren't doing so hot, with the exception of a few individuals, like say Devon as the TV champion and Kevin Steen as world champion in ROH. But those are some of the similarities. And like I said, the biggest similarity was they both kind of reasserted themselves and reestablished their dominance, within a week's span of each other. That's the biggest similarity. And they're both right now kind of like finally proving to be real threats. And both the other similarity is both had new additions. For example, at the 11th anniversary, Ring of Honor, Steve Carino fulfilled his promise that they were going to expand SCUM, and they did. Whether we like the idea, whether we like the new members or not. Devon foretold that they were going to dominate in TNA at lockdown, even though a lot of fans predicted it was going to happen. They sort of did that when Bully Ray won the world title and revealed that he was part of ACES and EIGHTS, and he was the president. So those, in a sense, are very good similarities. Kind of strange similarities, but they're similarities. The differences, though, between the two is that when SCUM was just the three individuals for a while, up until, like I said, towards the end of last year, SCUM was dominant, just the three of them. They were dominant. They held all the gold, if you will. They held all the championships. They were dominant. And that was just three of them. And then you add in Rhino as a fourth member, and, you're still dominant. Like I said, until the end of the year. Towards the end of the year, and then things changed. So the difference, trying to think here, folks, the difference between them and ACES and EIGHTS around this time frame is that there was just 3 to 4 of them, and they dominated. They held most of the gold. Well, on the other end, ACES and EIGHTS weren't doing so hot. The only exception being that after Devon was revealed to be a member, all they did was get Devon to get the TV title back, and that was it. All the other times, they were on the losing end of a lot of things. And that was the biggest difference there, the fact that they were on the losing end. So, and that didn't help him much. So that was a big difference, and that's an advantage Ring of Honor had with the SCUM storyline. Now, another difference, though, and this is favors TNA, is that, you know, even with the addition of Bully Ray, or the revelation that Bully Ray's their leader, the president, that the biggest difference is they're actually making thrives outside of, off camera as well. Basically, the difference between TNA's ACES and EIGHTS storyline and Ring of Honor's SCUM storyline is TNA is going as far as to letting the ACES and EIGHTS faction take over the website, take over the Twitter, take over the Facebook, to kind of show, hey, we can do whatever we want. I have yet to see SCUM do that. I have yet to see Ring of Honor allow SCUM to do that. And that's the biggest difference. Yeah, the closest thing you could say is, you know, you had Jimmy Jacobs and Steve Corino go to the National Pro Wrestling Day event a few weeks ago and lose to the Briscoes, but still kind of firm that SCUM was coming, that SCUM was going to be a force. But again, the biggest difference, though, and this is an advantage you give to TNA, is the fact that TNA is taking this outside of the company, more so outside of the ring, and even outside of the company, probably more so than Ring of Honor is. Because think about it. The day before lockdown, they had an event, and there was an independent indie show, I think called River City Wrestling or something like that, that's featured several TNA stars, and ACES and EIGHTS invaded that indie show. You know, you don't see Ring of Honor letting the SCUM individuals do that, except for the National Pro Wrestling Day event, do you? No, you don't. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But that is the biggest difference right there, and an advantage you give to TNA. That's the advantage. Now, even though those are huge advantages there, on both sides when you think about it, again, you got to go to the similarities. And both have a similar agenda. And that's to take over the company and rebrand it in their image. You know, and this is a similarity that both have, because both are practically, in a sense, whether you want to agree with it or not, are practically trying to basically repeat the NWO storyline. That's why a lot of people say they're similar to NWO. That's why a lot of people say you see similarities. As a matter of fact, you take a look at Impact last night and the following Impact next week, and they're doing a similar storyline with AJ. They're doing a storyline with AJ Styles that's similar to what WCW did with Sting during the whole NWO, during that whole 96 to the end of 97 deal. They're doing something similar. Sure, it may not last as long, but they're doing something similar. And pretty much a lot of people know, like myself, that have followed wrestling for as long as we have, that have seen this before, we pretty much know what the outcome's going to be. Now, I know a lot, and then you got something similar with Kevin Steen. Well, not so similar, but you don't know like what area, what side he's on. You don't know if they're going to take a page out of TNA and make him, you know, continue to be part of SCUM or what. You don't know. The point is, folks, there's a lot of there are similarities that I mentioned, and there are differences. And like I say, the differences are a lot. There's no doubt about it. The differences are a lot. Let me check my time here. like I said, the similar, well, not a lot, but there are all those similarities that I mentioned, as well as the differences. And the biggest difference, like I said, there are all those similarities and all those differences. The differences being the fact, being the advantage that both have. Like I said, last year the biggest difference is it only took 3 to 4 members of SCUM to dominate Ring of Honor, to dominate Ring of Honor in their storyline. Well, ACES and EIGHTS was on the losing end. But then you take a look now, and just within the span of a few days, you have ACES and EIGHTS, or within the span of a weekend and a few days, basically within the span of, let's see, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, within the span of about 5.5, 6 days, you have TNA taking their ACES and EIGHTS storyline outside of the company into an independent show, River City Wrestling, I think, as well as you got TNA allowing the ACES and EIGHTS faction to continue the storyline by having them make it look like they've been hacked into on the website, on the Facebook and the Twitter, and even on the YouTube page if that's the case. But you get what I'm saying, right? That's an advantage that TNA has with the ACES and EIGHTS storyline, but last year shows an advantage that Ring of Honor had with the SCUM storyline, was just 4 of them. But the biggest similarity, like I said, both have, is they're just both are following a similar trend, a similar storyline, a bit different, has a few differences here and there, but both are following a similar trend of the NWO invasion storyline. That's what it is. They're trying to hostilely take over the company. And true, I admit sometimes if done right, hostile takeover invasion storylines, they work. They're great. They work out great. They bring in the viewers. They bring in the fans. They bring in the money. But the thing is, it may cater to the newer fans who probably were just babies when the NWO thing began. But when it comes to longtime fans like us, we pretty much have an idea how it's all going to come about. I mean, like I said, biggest similarities so far from what I've read, I didn't see it, but from what I've read, is you have AJ Styles almost in a role similar to Sting back in 96 through 97. So whether you want to agree or not, to me, those are the differences and similarities between both ACES and EIGHTS and SCUM. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I will talk to you all later, but that is just my opinion. Take it for what you will. And I'm sorry about the wind.